Oh, wow. Thank you so much, JB. You are so kind. Really. You really are. How are you? And hello, Eric, and hello, Samuel. How are you guys doing tonight? Um, do you guys have a Valentine for Valentine's Day? Um, okay, cover says, I'd like to ask you the first question before it's crowded. Go for it, okay? And, you guys think you'll go on a Valentine's Day date? Here's something that might give you a little hope and inspiration. I don't know, maybe not. But I remember in my 20s, like there were so many Valentine's Days that I would be like walking the streets of New York City where I lived, and I would be hoping some guy would like ask me out on the street. And that didn't really happen. Because it would be like late at night on Valentine's Day. I'm like, there's still hope that some guy could be like, will you be my Valentine? And like, let's go on a date. And so if by chance you're out on Valentine's Day, you might want to just shoot your shot with some woman because you never know. She's probably thinking like romantic daydreams, like, oh, if only like it's Valentine's Day. She might be more open to being asked out. So that's your homework. I'm giving you guys some homework. And all right. So what do you think of that? JB says, yes, out of state, long distance relationship. Okay, so that's what I guess you'll be doing for Valentine's Day, JB? Just, will you guys be able to do anything even though you're long distance? Then Invasion says, I have so much respect for you and your husband. The way you speak the truth is priceless. Oh, wow, Invasion, thank you. And, he is my boyfriend, not my husband, but I accept husband, so thanks, Invasion. And Samuel says, I am doing well. I do not have a Valentine's. Do you intend to change that, Samuel? Because I think you should. Okay, Cover says, my question is, I'm embarrassed. I sent you a long ass email and I think you didn't want to answer it. Is it okay to resend it as a summary? I'm wondering, like, what is the long ass email? Yes, please resend it. I'm sorry that sometimes I don't respond to every email. Just because sometimes I get like it's nothing really against anyone who sends it because I love all the emails. It's just sometimes I'll like delay in responding. So please do send it again. I'm sorry to anyone who has sent me an email that I just haven't responded to. Feel free to just send it again and just, send it to the top of the inbox. I'm curious, okay, Covers, what your question was and why I didn't answer it. So sorry about that. First Last says, hello. Eric S says, doing okay. I keep getting dates with really beautiful women who then say they aren't feeling the connection after a few dates. Okay, Eric, well, they're going on the dates with you, so you're doing like the initial stuff right, but then you're doing something wrong on these dates, in my opinion, if they're saying that they are not feeling a connection. It could be so many things. That's why I wish I had like a diagnostic criteria, like we could just go down the checklist. Like, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Are you doing this? But do you have any suspicion what it could be, Eric S? Like, are you not making a move? Are you not going in for the kiss? Are you not flirting? Do you like refuse to compliment them at all? Do you these are just possibilities. You could be doing all of them. But do you maybe like not pay for the dates? Because all of these things can really create a sexually charged vibe. And I feel like if they're saying they're not feeling a connection with you, that's pretty much what they're saying if they went on the date with you initially. It's like, yeah, you're good looking and yeah, you seemed cool, but I'm not feeling like that sexual connection because you aren't creating it by doing these like sexually charged, polarizing, if you will, actions and behaviors. So I feel it could be quite easily remedied, especially if you're getting dates on the in the first place. But what do you think, Erica? Could it be any inkling of where you may be dropping the ball and creating like a sexual charged vibe? Um, so first class says, what do you think about Wheat Waffles YouTuber? I don't know this person. Could you tell me like what they're about? Um, hello, I lol. I always lol internally when I see your username. And thank you for saying I'm your favorite YouTuber, if that is indeed what you're saying. Hello, Rohit. So he says, hi. When I started promising her gift, she's acting so nice to me. Is that a good thing in her? Okay, interesting. So could you give me an example, Rohit? What kind of gifts did you promise her, and how did you promise it to her? Because that could tell me a lot. Okay. And then Primetime says, is there a way we can get more one-on-one? Asking and having our questions answered is amazing, but I'd love a conversation to help with things. Primetime, I do like individual sessions. We can do them over Zoom. I charge $60 for that. And we can talk about whatever you want. And yeah, so just email me my nonleatherlife@gmail.com, and I'd love to do that. Elvis says, RIP Alan Roger. RIP 100%. I really would be interested to know more how this happened, like what happened. I was very sad to hear that. It just happened so suddenly. And the sad thing is we were in a bit of a we remained friends in a way, because like we were still Facebook friends and like messaged and everything, but we did get in kind of a bit of a fight, and I did say a few I don't regret it, because it was kind of just like an impassioned, argument. And it wasn't like ad hominem attacks or anything. But I do just wish I had just like taken a more lighthearted approach and just appreciated all ARC just was, and just respect, you know what I mean? So yeah, it is really, really sad. JB Wells says, no, she's on the other side of the country. I sent her roses and chocolate covered strawberries in a card. Oh, JB, I love that. That's great. What a classic. I'm sure she'll really appreciate that. That's awesome. So Ilul says, what is your email address? My nonleatherlife@gmail.com. Okay, Cover says, excellent, I will. Thank you. Okay, great. Okay, Covers. And Jason Lee says, what does it mean when a girl you hooked up with gets cold after a while? It's been 2 years since we last met and have been contacting each other through text. Well, so it's been 2 years since you last met. So that's like a long, long time. So it kind of makes sense that she would be cold. But like, are you trying to hook up with her again? Are you trying to meet up? How come it's been 2 years since you last met up? Because like in 2 years she's gonna have moved on. She's not gonna be like all obsessed like she was. She can't be waiting around 2 years of her life. But it could be that you're just like messaging ad nauseum, basically, and she's kind of like, bro, like, do you want to hook up or not? Like, are you gonna ask me out or not? I don't know. It could be different situations, but that is definitely a big mistake guys make. So who knows what it is in your situation, Jason? Feel free to give me some more details here. So then, Apologize says, saw this girl, we interchanged stares. I like that, interchange stares at each other many times. So I said, enough. Gave her my number, but she didn't text. So I believe she was just using me for validation attention. Make a video. So I really don't understand why you guys really focus on this like validation attention hypothesis. Like, I feel like you guys have this one really wrong when you think that girls are simply using you for validation attention. Like, it just doesn't ring any bells. Like, nobody I know, me, but maybe it's just you're seeing it that way for some reason. But basically, what probably happened is, first of all, girls don't want to text you first. Okay. Literally, you guys are watching like red pill videos, the manosphere. Girls are watching female dating coach videos, right? And every single female dating coach advice for women and male dating advice too is saying, you don't text first, you don't make the move, you are the prize. And yeah, I know the guys get the same advice, but for girls, it's like really like core to like their, you know, urges and wants in dating. They don't want to text you first. So if you give her your number, she's probably still not going to text because in a girl's mind, she's probably thinking, if he wanted to, he would. If he doesn't have my number, he'll look through every single number in the phone book to get it. Like these are stories that other girls tell girls, like, well, my boyfriend called up every Jones in the phone book and found my mom and asked for my number and showed up on my doorstep, like these kinds of things. So, point being, long story short, don't give the girl your number and ask her to text. You take her number and text and initiate. Um, I don't know, maybe you guys are trying to play this kind of like hard to get strategy, but for a lot of girls, it's just never going to work. Like, for example, me personally, if a guy gave me his number, I wouldn't text him because I was wanting a guy to initiate, be the aggressor, be the pursuer. And so many girls are too. I'm saying the majority, not all. Some probably just don't care about this stupid like dating coach BS or whatever. Many, and I'm going to say the majority for sure. So, don't just jump to this conclusion like she was using you for validation attention. Like, here's another thing you guys need to know. Like, girls don't need your validation and attention. Girls get validation and attention. Like, look at me, guys. I'm not trying to look great. I don't even care like right now about my looks at all. Yet I'm getting so much validation and attention just from the fact that like there's many guys who watch my channel. So it's not like a hard thing for a girl to get. Like imagine a girl who's all done up, she's really into her looks and her style. You think she needs your validation and attention? She doesn't. She's getting like a deluge of validation and attention. So I wouldn't be thinking that's like a motivation for a girl. Girls are kind of like drowning in validation and attention from guys. Just FYI. Okay? Like even girls you don't think are, you know, fives and above, whatever. They're drowning in validation and attention from guys. I don't know if you guys know that. So let's see. Hello, Higgy Higgy. Samuel says, I would love to have a Valentine's and go out to a nice dinner. However, I do have a coworker who is interested in me, but she's 22 years old and I'm older than her father. So if she is actually interested in you and you know that for sure, Samuel, I would say that might be an exciting Valentine's Day date for her. However, you're just assuming she's interested, it might get a bit, might might not be great because it's in the workplace, but so Lil says, how can I be a better person? I don't have much to offer, so what do I need to do to have something what's this? To offer my future partner? Okay, that's a great question. That is a really great question. It's like, what can you offer a girl that she will be interested in? I've wanted to make a video on this for a while. I really have. Because I kind of want to make a video on like things any guy can offer to a girl, like no matter who you are. These are things like all girls are kind of seeking from a guy. It's just I wanted to like collect my thoughts on that one. But fantastic question. I will um let me just think about that and possibly make a better video for you on that. So, all right, Higgy says, just want to ask in 10 words or less, what's an invisible thing that men do that leads to the most attractiveness? So, what's an invisible thing men do that leads to the most attractiveness? Um, okay. For me personally, I would say it has to do with okay, let me see, like what would be invisible to you guys? Maybe I could just do like any invisible thing. Okay, I'll just go with this one. It's kind of obvious, but kind of like a display of strength. Like, I'll give you an example. Like this is kind of stupid, okay? But I remember when I was like a freshman in college, and this guy he liked me. We ended up dating, but he would try to. I would like I was a runner, so I'd work out on the treadmill, and he would try to like lift weights and stuff. And I guess it's invisible because it's like it did impress me, and it's, like, kind of something that I feel like girls try to pretend doesn't impress them, but just like him kind of like, sometimes he would just, like, really, like, let out a lot of, like, crazy, like this is so embarrassing, guys, like, grunts and, like, groans, and he was just being, like, really, like, kind of aggressive about it, like, lifting weights and, like, running and stuff, and he was really athletic, and I remember just feeling like I didn't let on. It was kind of, like, invisible, but it's, like, just him kind of, like, displaying kind of, like, athleticism and strength impressed me. And, I mean, girls like athletes, right? Like, we kinda know that. But I think it's, like, that same kind of is it invisible to you guys? I don't know, but it is something that is impressive because, you know, we're not really we're not born with the same physical gifts in a way, so, it's impressive. It's attractive. It's kinda, like, mesmerizing. It's power, like, wildness. And, I guess I mean, there's certain other areas where that can apply. So that's one thing, guys. What else? Um, well, that's definitely one. Alright, let's move on. But that's a great question, and I'm sure there's a lot more too, but that one just came to mind. It's like, it's invisible, but it's sexually attractive. Another thing I'll tell you guys is invisible, I think, but also sexually attractive. It's kind of like your ability to like not be controlled. I find that attractive. It's kind of like I feel guys give advice to other guys about this, like your ability to say no, right? Your ability to kind of like selfishly do what you want. It's invisible because I feel like so many men underestimate how attractive it is. Because it's kind of counterintuitive, isn't it? It's like, well, if you say no, you're gonna annoy and offend and upset people. Sure, but it's also invisibly attractive. Like sometimes, for example, my boyfriend, he will just say something really kind of like gritty and like kind of like, okay, like basically like this attitude of like, nobody tells me what to do, nobody bosses me around, I do what I want, that's who I am, that's who I always will be. And like that attitude of kind of just like, you can't control me. I'm going to do what I want, and what I want includes you and making you happy or whatever. But I'm not going to like be tamed in a way, which is what's so ironic is like everyone's been commenting lately telling me, "Oh, Jordan Peterson says like the most attractive thing is when a man is tamed." It's like it's not because it's that invisible can't be tamed thing that is also like one of the most sexually attractive things about men. And it's kind of similar to how I feel like guys get the advice like, "Oh, girls like it when you're selfish." Okay, that's not totally true. There's but it can be very attractive for that same reason. It's like you are not a slave to others. You are a free agent. You're wild, you're untamed, you're uncontrollable, you're a free agent, you're independent, you're powerful. It's sexually attractive because nobody respects somebody who's kind of like crushed by, well, I don't want to say nobody because it can be kind of honorable and beautiful and in another right, but that's another thing I think you guys don't know that's like invisible. All right, so let's go on to some more questions, but wonderful, wonderful question, Higgy Higgy. And does that make sense, you guys? Sorry, sometimes what am I doing? I don't know. So let's go on here. All right, let's see if I'll just go down to the bottom to see if anyone responded to what I was saying here. Chapeau 62 says, "You make perfect sense to me." Wonderful, Chapeau. And Mind Warlock says, "When Jordan Peterson said that the tamed man was attractive, I heard the opposite." Really? Well, he's talking about like what's attractive to women, like because I have this video and it recently has been kind of going viral in a way, and everybody's telling me, "Oh yes, I understand this. This is exactly what Jordan Peterson said. Beauty and the Beast. Women want to tame the man. They want to tame the beast. That is like the ultimate thing women find attractive." And I'm like, does not compute, bro, because that's not what they find attractive. In fact, it's the opposite of what they find attractive. Like, it's just never going to be attractive. Never. So, yeah. Hello, Matasuki. Nice to see you. Um, Web education. I'm not familiar with this. Why do women like shabaris? What is shabaris? Please educate me. And let's see. KG says, "You are awesome. You are helping a lot." Amazing, KG. Thanks for telling me that. Let's see. Matasuki says, "I can say that the gaze stuff works, fellas. Off topic, but listen to her. She won't let you down." Oh, thanks, Matasuki. Which female gaze or male gaze stuff has been, like, informing you? Um, okay. Ted Barley says, "Did you privatize your last live?" I did, Ted Barley. So, oh God, Josh the Manga Lad, is drug use part of the female fantasy, i.e., a guy who can show her drugs? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I do think that can be, a sexy fantasy for some women, for sure. I'm not saying all, definitely not all, but I do think it would fall under the realm of like sexy for a woman, for some women. Um, Pissed Off Redneck one says, "Do you need to ask before kissing them the first time?" I would say you don't need to ask. You don't need to. You can. Maybe some women are gonna expect it in this day and age, but you don't need to. A lot of women don't feel that is necessary. They feel you should be reading body language and it should happen. So, what do you guys think? But personally, like when I was dating, no, it would be bad if he asked. Um, so all right, let's find some other questions here. All right. Nils Macquarie says dealers are a huge turn on. You know, I think you're right, Nils. They have like a certain dangerous element, which is a huge turn on for many girls. They have a certain bad boy edge, which is kind of like fascinating and appealing. I remember like when I worked as a stripper, a lot of drug dealers would come in and they were scary and well, because like I wasn't ever like befriending them really, but they were just kind of retaining this air of like mystery, masculinity, and danger, you know? Um, let's see. Oh no, here we go. Everyone's defending Jordan Peterson. Let's see what they're saying. Because I recently just read an article clarifying his whole vampire pirate cowboy billionaire thing. Or he didn't even say cowboy, but yeah. Um Nick says Peterson said better to be a dangerous man under voluntary control than a harmless man. Okay, yeah, I heard he said that. That's fine. Um And then Kokiogo says, that's not what Jordan Peterson says. He says the attractive man is the one a woman believes she can control. But deep down inside, she knows he's uncontrollable. So she believes she can control him, but deep inside, she can control him if deep inside she knows. I'm open to being wrong. I just don't feel like that makes total sense. JB, thank you so much. Thank you for your tip. I really appreciate that. Is dating a girl who likes bad boys a lost cause if you're not a bad boy? Nor weak, just not a felon type. No, JB, I don't think it is a lost cause because I think like basically almost every single girl likes bad boys. You know what I mean? It doesn't, how much do they like bad boys? Every girl is going to like bad boys to some degree. I feel like every single girl is gonna see the appeal of a bad boy, even if she's not gonna go for a bad boy. So, I wouldn't rule out any girl who likes bad boys because you're gonna be ruling out everybody basically. Um, but, a lot of girls, it's kind of a fantasy, but they don't actually want that. Like for me, I could never date like a guy like who's a real bad boy. Like my boyfriend, he's already like a bit much for me in that respect. Like he's always kind of breaking the rules. And I'm like, oh, bro, please, like, just be good, you know? So, no, it is not a lost cause. It can just kind of be like a sexual fantasy in a way. And you can role play a bit of that fantasy for her in the bedroom. But you don't have to be a bad person. You don't have to be a criminal. You don't have to be actually dangerous. Like, for example, my boyfriend, he's really good at role playing a bad boy. Okay. So, in a way, it's kind of like, well, since he can role play a bad boy so well, he kind of has the same traits as one. So, that's attractive because it's like, even though he's not, it's easy for him. He could be. You know what I mean? Like, my boyfriend, he can act, like, really abusive, but just, like, as a joke. That's what's so probably not perfectly easy for you guys to understand. Maybe, but, like, for example, sexually, he'll just kinda act really abusive. But it's not actually abusive because he's totally joking, he's doing it in a lighthearted, funny way. He does it to make me laugh, he does it to tease me. He's not actually abusing me in any way, shape, or form, but he can act the part really well, and it's attractive because I get a taste of it without being in an abusive relationship. And if you guys wanna see a really good example of somebody who does this really well, check out this guy, Gideon and Marley on Instagram. He used to be on TikTok, and they used to call him the infamous Gideon, but he had like 13 accounts and they were all deleted. And he's kind of like a kink creator in a way. He was kind of educating people about kink, but he actually was in jail, I guess, for a little bit. But now he kind of like he can imitate a bad boy, kind of like an abusive bad boy, like really well. And he does it for his girlfriend, kind of in the same way my boyfriend does it, as a joke to entertain her. And you can tell he's like actually a really nice guy. She loves him. They have a great relationship, and it seems like really healthy. So check him out because you'll be able to see an example of what I'm talking about. Like he really gives her quite an experience of being with a bad boy while at the same time he's like a loving boyfriend. So hopefully that makes sense. Pissed off redneck one, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And let me see if you left a question that I missed. Um, really appreciate that. Pissed off redneck one. So, and if I missed your question, because there might be one, just post it down below so I'll see it. So let's see. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Jarmel's 2006 says, "Does the air of mystery and danger maintain a relationship for a very long time?" I wouldn't really know Jarmello because I never dated someone who's like mysterious and dangerous. Like I didn't want to be in a long-term relationship with someone like that. Um, so I'm not sure. Maybe. But I don't know. I still kind of see my boyfriend as like mysterious and dangerous in a way. And we've been in a long-term relationship, so maybe. So then Clement Lou says, "Lol, I ain't about that dealer life, but I learned how to drive by racing around the bad parts of town. Cops go after dealers while they DGAF about people like me going nuts at night." So you're just racing around the bad parts of town? I'm sure that could be an attractive quality to some girls, so it might be a good skill. Um, Oh no, Josh, the Mangalesses. What about a different kind of danger, like driving my car very fast with her and risking crashing? That sounds terrifying. Please don't do it, Josh. Please. Keep your lady safe. Please don't try to, like, do this just to seem attractive and risk her life. That would be absolutely terrible. Please, please, don't do that. Um, so Invasion says, I know what you're talking about, lol. I do the same thing. Yeah, that acting part is so perfect for women. Yep, facts. Facts, Invasion. Maybe you can give us a pointer or two in the chat. But I agree, it's facts. It's straight up facts. It's incredibly powerful. Nil says, but if he acts like it, it means he can do it, and it sounds like that's the turn on. He can do it. Uh-oh, lost the chat for a second. Sorry, because like sometimes the whole chat just like goes. Let's see what you were saying here. He sounds like he can do it, but he holds it back. 100%, Nils. RT the brand says, like Andrew Tate. Oh no. Oh god. Hopefully I didn't like give you guys some Andrew Tate like inspo or something. So Paul says the bad boy issue is an instinctual drive for sure. It's a core DNA programming. Role playing allows a release of that hard drive we have without actually being evil for real. I agree, Paul. I do agree. So web educators, women who are not incarcerated will go after men who are incarcerated. I agree. They do that sometimes. Clement Lou says, nice catch with putting on a good act. That helps with preparing myself for so many other things in life, which I call mental programming. So I'm not sure what you were referring to with the putting on a good act. And you said nice catch. So let me know, Clement. And then Jermel says, my sister actually stays with her husband knowing that he has a girlfriend. So frustrating to see her take so much punishment from him, but she will not leave him. She actually defends him. Ugh. Yeah, that must suck, Jermelo. That's sad. Why do you think, like, she's so loyal to him? KG says, my girlfriend of 7.5 years left me and married somebody else in a deceptive manner. I'm not able to make myself understand my current situation. I thought I will be all right in some time, but it's 4 months now. Well, that's really rough, KG. Like 7.5 years, that's probably become, the closest person to you. You really like trust and depend on this person, and then, she deceives you, betrays you. That's a lot to get over in 4 months. That's intense, especially if, well, like for myself, like if I don't fully understand what went wrong, I'll just be, just my mind will just be like hitting it for like years or months, and it just can't move on. So, yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. You haven't moved on. And I was curious, you said you're not able to make yourself understand your current situation. What are you questioning still, KJ? But yeah, sorry to hear this because that sounds like awful. And he says, I feel broken inside. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't? So Mihir says, this one girl said, guys who love their moms are red flags. Can you translate? Yes, Mihir, because first of all, girls fear this, okay? Because they fear that, one, the guy is going to be kind of like a baby who's incapable of taking care of himself because the mom has been kind of like babying him and doing all his laundry for him and cooking all his meals for him. So they're kind of afraid when this guy gets with them, the guy isn't going to be like an alpha who's like providing and protecting and taking care of the girl. They feel they're gonna have to be like a mom to the guy. And then the second thing they're fearing is that they're gonna come second to the mom. Whenever there's like a conflict, like, oh, do I go on a vacation with you or do I go see my mom? Because my mom called me up and said, like, I need you to fix something in my garage or whatever. The guy's always gonna pick the mom. So, the mom's gonna be the number one woman in his life, and a girl wants to be the number one woman in his life. So they're scared of being second, and that's why they're saying it's a red flag. Just don't date these guys, avoid them, avoid these mama's boys because you're never gonna be number one, and they're not gonna be like fully mature, like alpha dudes. So does that make sense? Me here? Was that enough of a translation? Um, okay. Let's see. Oh, pissed off redneck one. I finally found a question from you. Sorry I missed you because I really thank you for your tip. You said there are different weights on dates: holding hands, hugging, and kissing. Are they all signals that they are interested? So, okay. Holding hands. Well, it depends. Like, do you reach out and hold her hand? Because if so, there's a chance she just kind of like felt awkward and uncomfortable and held your hand back. So there's a chance that she could hold your hand and still not be interested. Hugging, I would say that one can also really go either way because let's say a girl isn't interested. She might just give you a hug at the end of the date rather than a kiss. However, if she's just, climbing on you all the time and hugging you, that's different. And then kissing, that's a pretty good sign that she is interested in you because there's a lot of ways to just reject a guy's kiss. Like he goes in for the kiss and you just give him a hug, or you turn your cheek, or you just back away, or you're just like, okay, I have to go now, or whatever. So if she actually kissed you, there's a very good chance she's interested. However, many girls, they don't have good ability to be assertive. Okay. So they might just accept a kiss that they didn't really want. However, that's less likely. So does that make sense, pissed off redneck one? I mean, you'll probably be able to tell that if it's like a passionate kiss, she's feeling the passion. So your thoughts, pissed off redneck one? Hello, Kessel Soul. Uh, let's see. Hmm. 311, this is making me sad. I get a lot of dirty looks and mistreatment from women at work, at school. I've never actually experienced the good side of a woman. Okay. That really sucks. That must be quite difficult, and I am sorry to hear that. Hopefully we can turn this around, but I know this can really just, you know, this is very, very difficult to get over. This feeling that like you're just totally unwanted and mistreated by women, overlooked, so yeah. Um, RT the brand says, allegedly Kanye West paid a dancer $16,000 to sit and listen to his problems. That's funny. But that's pretty much what happens at a strip club, guys. I mean, a lot of guys don't want to get like a lap dance or a VIP room. They just want to sit and drink and then you talk. They want to talk. So it's like, what are you going to talk about? They want to get into like a deep conversation, basically. So that happens. They just want to like sit and drink and talk to the girl. So that dancer must have had a great hustle though to get that much money for just sitting and listening to his problems. It's nice. Um so 311, I just want to touch on something. You said I've looked for the answer to why I'm consistently given dirty and angry looks from women. All right. Now, I'm not sure this is like your situation 311, but I do know many guys, they do feel this way, and they are making, in their cases, one fundamental assumption that it's very wrong. So basically, what you don't understand, and I'm not saying this has to be your situation, but it could very well be your situation, 311, is that women are going to give dirty and angry looks to almost any man. Okay. Unless you're like so fantastic looking, like you're literally like the 1% of men, okay, that women are just like stunned when you walk in the room and they just start quickly going to like all their fantasies like, "Oh my god, this is like Prince Charming." They're gonna be giving you dirty and angry looks. And that doesn't mean it's something about you. I guess that's kind of hard for guys to understand a lot because they're like, I don't understand. Like, I'm a nice guy. Like, why is every woman giving me like a dirty and angry look? Is it because I'm ugly? Is it because I'm doing something to offend them? No. Okay, guys, here's the thing like, you don't understand about women. They're really scared of men. I'm not kidding. I was terrified of men because all day long, like as a young woman, people are staring at you. And it happens, I said this in some videos, but it's like literally since like 7 years old. Sickeningly, but literally. And, more for even more attractive women, but literally for any woman. Like, no matter how she looks, it's like guys are giving them this hungry stare, okay, from a young age. It's scary because it's like, you're like, I'm a kid, okay? Like, what is this, like, guy doing looking at me like he wants to grape me? Okay, that's how it seems to women. And so it scares, there's this deep fear of like male sexuality because a lot of times they don't understand male sexuality. It's different, guys. Female sexuality, male sexuality, it's slightly different. Okay, women are sexual too, but it's slightly different in my opinion. And so they don't understand it. I mean, I thought men were like porn, sex crazed maniacs basically until I became a stripper and I like understood things better. But that's basically like what we're told as women. We're told men think about sex like 13 times every minute. So we're like, whoa, like these guys are like insanely sex crazed. And then they're staring at me like with this hungry look, like they want to just, you don't even really know. Like, do they want to rape you? Like, what do they want? So it's really scary. And so they just project that fear on all guys. And they give the dirty and angry looks, which you're talking about, as a defense. It's kind of like they put up a wall and they're basically saying to anyone, no matter who that guy is, don't come near me. I'm not open for anything sexual. So that's why they give the dirty and angry looks to all guys, no matter what they look like, no matter what a good person they are. But a lot of guys misinterpret that and they're like, women hate me. They don't hate you. They're scared of men. So, does that make sense, 311? Because I feel like many guys make this mistake and they're thinking they're ugly. The girl could find you sexually attractive, but she's still scared of sex. Do you know what I'm saying? So, hopefully that makes sense, 311, because a lot of guys have made this mistake. So what do you guys think? Savvy says, I hate that. I have the hardest time opening up because of that. So what do you hate, Savvy? Just that women are giving you these looks? Lady Lux, and are you a woman, Lady Lux? I hope I can safely assume, says facts. So we got another woman here on the chat saying facts. Like, lady, please come, what's the word I'm looking for? Not expose yourself, but are you a woman and can you back up what I'm saying? Like, isn't it true that we as women, we project a angry, cold, hard vibe because we're scared of men. And I told you guys this before on my channel, but the moment I became a stripper is the moment this all kind of like dissolved. And I'm like, wait a second. Men are not scary. I was scared of nothing. The fact is, they're obsessed with women. They need women. They love women. And they want sex. But they're very vulnerable in that. But that's, I only learned that once I became a stripper. So please, hopefully Lady Lux has not left the chat and can back me up here. And any other woman who happens to be here can explain. Invasion says, I know exactly what you're saying and I'm a man. Very good, Invasion. I am glad. So Savvy says, I have a difficult time reading body language and facial expressions. I always get the feeling I'm being a creep. All right, guys, here's another truth bomb. And I hate to say this one. Even if girls can be attracted to creeps, don't worry so much about being creepy. Yeah, try to like learn the female gaze and be better, but like you're focusing on the wrong thing if you're just focused on being creepy because they're always going to perceive you as somewhat creepy because male sexuality can be creepy when a girl isn't turned on. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with it. That doesn't mean they're not even attracted to you. So just don't worry so much about being creepy. Percy says the double standard is crazy. We're afraid of women too. So that's interesting, Percy. Where's the double standard there? Crazy says she thinks we're sex crazed animals. Well, I'm offended. You know what, Crazy? You shouldn't be offended because in a way there's like a fascination with that, in my opinion. It's like she's scared but also turned on. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a dangerous attraction, if you will. So in a way it works to your guy's benefit because she sees you as kind of like more powerful than you are because like Percy was saying, you guys are afraid of women too. You know what I mean? But they don't necessarily see that. They see you as like hyper masculine sex fiend. And in a way, that's a good thing. So B. Smith says, enjoying my David Burns book tonight. Amazing, B. Smith. Which one are you reading? Aaron says, I should write this down. Which part, Aaron? Spudsky says, I'm in my early 50s. I'm trying to rebuild my life. My financial situation sucks. I'm going to school to hopefully change that. Will women give me a chance or dismiss me? It's going to depend, but women are not going to, like, all women are not going to dismiss you. Some women might, but just not having a lot of money, being in school, that's not going to rule you out for some women necessarily. It's going to depend on other things, like how you can make them feel, you know? So don't just rule yourself out because of that. Now, yeah, you're not going to be in the running for like some girl who's obsessed with getting a millionaire or whatever. That's fine. There's other girls who aren't obsessed with that. Um, let's see. Let's see what else. Kessel Soul says, loving this such insightful advice, Victoria, as a 24-year-old guy who is honestly more timid, awkward, and feminine by temperament. Awesome, Kessel Soul. I hope it helps you. B. Smith is reading Feeling Good. That is my all-time favorite book, which is kind of hard for me to say because I'm like, there's so many incredible books out there. So I'm just really going to go with Feeling Good? Yes, I am, because it changed my life the most. It got me out of literally clinical depression, horrible, horrible feeling, feeling trapped, hopeless. Never want to feel that again. Feeling Good, guys. Check it out. It's just an amazing book. And then, I've read all his other books, listened to his podcast every week. I just learned so much from the guy. He's incredible. Oh, wow. Austin, thank you so much. Really appreciate your tip. And he says, with women fearing men, when to continue pursuing or back off and take the hint? I often attract really submissive girls. With some, it's very easy and obvious, but some are so passive, I don't know if they're just being nice. Oh, God, Austin, you touched on something that's... It's a really great question. It's kind of complex, okay? Oh, gosh, great question. All right, so let's read it again. So, all right, when to continue pursuing or back off and take the hint? I mean, it really is just going to depend on like what you intuit is the right thing to do, what is in her best interest. And you say, I often attract really submissive girls. With some, it's very easy and obvious, but some are so passive. I don't know if they're just being nice. I mean, that's kind of an issue with like submissive girls. They are passive. They want to be passive, but sometimes it's not necessarily in their best interest to be passive. So do you just kind of like give them this submissive dominant experience that may end up causing them a lot of mixed feelings or even regret? To err on the side of safety, I would just really, really make sure. But I will say that if she is submissive and she's acting really passive, it is possible, I don't want to say anything wrong here, but that she might want this experience of you being dominant if she is submissive. So sometimes, even if it's not healthy for them. So that's kind of the thing. It's like some people just have this drive to be treated not in a healthy way, but I'm hoping you will just confirm that with them through a lot of communication. Because even if they can't say it themselves, what they want and what their boundaries are, they're counting on you in a way to help them and guide them and do what's best for them. And you can be dominant and communicative and consensual. So I don't know if I put that in the best way, Austin, but hopefully that makes sense. I would just err on the side of you're going to have to take total responsibility. You're going to have to basically be the adult in this situation and do what is in their best interest. And they will love you all the more for that and become even more obsessed with you, in my opinion. So, yeah, what do you think, Austin? All right, Kareem, I see your question. That's a great question. Let me just see one thing here. Now, next person said, "Are you still dating the bald guy with the beard?" I am. Beardo. He's my boyfriend. Neil says, "There's a new version called Feeling Great that has some amazing new tools." I have read Feeling Great, and I did really like it. And you're right, it does have some amazing new tools. However, honestly, I prefer Feeling Good. But I've read all his books, and they're all amazing. So, all right. 24K triumphant. I just have to say this. What is the yoga pant wearing about? Obviously, they want to be seen, right? No, 24K. When a woman dresses sexy, it's not to attract, you know, any guy on the street, okay? First of all, yoga pants are very comfortable. Second of all, yoga pants are good to work out in because they're stretchy, they move. So, could they also want to be, could they also want to look in the mirror and feel sexy and feel like they look good, feel like they look high value? Yes. But doesn't mean they want to like attract a random guy and have him come over. Not necessarily. Does that make sense? Like just because you want to look in the mirror and be like, "Damn, I'm a 10," doesn't mean you want a guy to come over and ask you out. They could want that, but it's not, you know, it doesn't follow that they want that. So if someone is so broke boy JD says, "I have a question. I texted a girl almost every day since the 19th of January, 3 dates. All of a sudden she ghosted me. Then when I texted her again, she said wrong number." Wow. You must have done something to, well, I imagine you could have done something to offend her, broke boy JD, because that's kind of a extreme way to ghost someone. Like that seems more like the kind of behavior when someone's like really insulted. It's just like he knows what he did. So, do you think you could have done something, broke boy, or was there anything you got the hint something's not right? Sally says, "I love your lives. They are the only ones I can listen to for 3 hours." Wow, Sally, that is a huge compliment. Thank you so much. Uh, you guys are asking so many amazing questions. Okay, I'm just trying to look through some of them all. Uh, yeah. Well, I think Sabby says, "I've been single for 3 years. I feel like my need to get laid is too visible, lol." Well, I think that's like the fascinating thing. another thing that contributes to like women seeing men as hypersexual freaks is, like I said in my blind spot video, they don't know men aren't getting laid sometimes for like 3 years. So no wonder these guys are like starved for sex. But because women don't have that issue, they can't imagine like, wow, maybe these guys are like starved out there. So that's really interesting because like maybe that's why it's so visible to women. It's like you guys aren't having it, and that sucks. So all right. So let's answer Kareem's question. I don't know if he's still here, but he says, so tell us about wild femininity, Victoria. Okay. So Kareem, great question and everything, and I kind of mentioned that on this other live, and I was talking about like wild masculinity, and I'm like, yeah, wild femininity. Okay, well, wild femininity, there's different ways of like seeing it, but I don't know, like I probably I don't know if you guys will be interested in this, but like I do this like I do this pole dance thing, S Factor, right? But it's really fascinating because you really see women in their wild femininity because it's only women, okay, and it's pole dance, but it's also feminine movement, and you basically bring in a song. But anyway, women basically like pour out their hearts and souls on the dance floor. And it's erotic dance. It's basically pole dance, but it's like it's also floor work too, as they say in stripping. So anyway, because I've been like doing this for so long, I've literally seen thousands and thousands of women like pouring out their soul on the dance floor and basically telling the story through dance of like what they want the most erotically. Okay. And that's part of the reason why I feel like I have a better understanding of like what women in general want is because I've done this for so many years and I've seen so many women, like women who didn't even want to be there at S Factor, like basically tear down their walls and tell the truth about what they really want erotically. And it's, I don't know if you want to believe like the body is speaking or whatever, but like it's kind of true. So, what is wild femininity? I mean, you kind of see it in stripping. You can see it with certain strippers, not all, because a lot of strippers are like very performative and they just basically fake female sexuality, but like real female sexuality is literally magical. It just moves like liquid and it's really erotic and it's really emotional. It's really, really deep. And it's like this yearning for kind of like this all encompassing love and to be seen in their emotions and to just be like taken and witnessed. I don't know. That's part of wild femininity, okay? Like, and I could show you some examples of it. Like, some of my friends, they have Instagram accounts where they kind of show like their dances, and it's like incredibly beautiful and powerful. And like when I was a stripper, when I would really like show this part of myself, people responded, and men would always like if like my male friends would be like, "Oh, yeah, men don't care about like the way you dance. Like we just care about your body." Well, it's actually not true because like in the strip club, they do respond to like real authentic female sexuality. You could tell because it's like you get like money suddenly thrown on you when you start doing it. And men can tell like the fake stuff. Yeah, maybe sometimes they don't care because they just want like the dirtiest stripper in there or whatever, but a lot of times, like, they see it. Anyway, that's one part of it, okay, guys? And then the second part of it is, like, let's say when I'm having sex, okay? When I'm really turned on, when I'm at the top of the runway, guys, okay? If you guys see my runway video, things change, Okay. I don't really want to be myself anymore. A more intense fantasy takes over. Okay. A lot of times for me, that's like this crazy. What am I? All right, guys. I'm just going to have to take this live down after, but it's like a crazy submissive fantasy. Okay. It's like this desire to be maybe like a slave. Maybe it's a desire to be like, you know, do something for a guy, to be like his servant or whatever, to be his mate, to be like hyper feminine, to just be perfect for him, to do anything like he wants. These are kind of like the wild desires that women don't really want to have, but a lot of them have it that comes out when they're really turned on and you just morph. You just morph. You maybe want that like 1950s household thing. You want to be totally stereotype of feminine. You maybe don't even care if the guy like it's sort of like, maybe you want the guy to just be even more alpha, be even more strong, just amplify everything so that maybe he even has like multiple girlfriends. Like a lot of girls are into like cuck queening or whatever. Like basically all the gender roles get kind of like multiplied, like the roots of a tree, like in every direction. Okay. And you become and you want to become somebody you're not allowed to be in everyday life. We have to be strong. We have to put up a front. We have to ward off guys who might try to basically just, you know, think we're open for sex and we don't want to have sex with them. But when you're really with someone and you're turned on, you want to be a often hyper feminine gender stereotype and all the things you guys say you want, like, oh, we want a submissive woman who like cooks and cleans. A lot of girls probably fucking want to do that. They want to make the sandwich for the guy who says, bitch, make me a sandwich or whatever. Everything just dissolves and wild femininity takes over. You know what I mean, guys? Have you guys experienced it? And like for me, a lot of times it's not just that. Like a lot of other weird things happen as well. But I've already said a lot. So let's just see if you guys know what I'm saying. Uh-oh. All right. Hello, JG. Vortex, vortex, vortex. Let's see. So Paul says, what you are describing is exactly what my strongest drive wants from a woman sexually. I need it, in fact, to be fulfilled. That's another part of it, Paul, is that she's gonna want you to need that. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna want you to actually want to be dominant, not just to be playing the role for her, but to actually want it. So it's kind of like this bizarre inversion of like everything taboo and wrong in normal society when she's at the top of the vortex, when she is sorry, not the top of the vortex, the top of the runway, when she is the most turned on, you're just gonna be like, fuck all that. Like, I saw this TikTok sound and it was kind of funny. It was like this woman and she was like, no, I actually think men are better than women. And it was funny because it's like every single woman knows like that's absolutely absurd. We're all feminists, bro. We don't actually think that. But when you're at the top of the runway, when you're really turned on, when basically sex brain takes over, that's the kind of thoughts you're going to be thinking. And you kind of just want everything sexist. Not everybody, guys, but many. Everything misogynist, everything taboo. And how do I know? Guys, this is what kink is. Like, go on FetLife, look at women's profiles, look at their fetish list, see what they're into. It's not completely the same, but it's a lot of the same stuff. Okay? It's all kind of in the same realm. So. Oh, Lady Lux, you're back. Thank you, Lady Lux. Don't leave me hanging. She's saying facts with the looking around emoji. Lady Lux. Am I lying, Lady Lux? You said facts, so I guess you're already agreeing. I'm not lying. Where's the lie, right, Lady Lux? Strictly Group says female felines and female humans are alike. If a man understands one, he understands the other. That's interesting, Strictly Group, because I do relate to female felines. Like, often I will be really creepy myself and sometimes watch like a big cat mating video because I do find it fascinating because I'm like, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Like at the end, when the cat just like, slaps the guy or whatever, I'm like, I know that feeling. It's like, no, you didn't. You didn't do that to me. Um, and you just want to slap him. And you can see the cats acting really submissive, and you can see the cats acting like they really like the masculinity of like the male cats. It's weird, guys. It's weird. But am I right? It's kind of obvious. Okay, Lady Luck says you were on point. Thank you. Right. Judson Montemagno says sounds like subspace at the top of the runway. 100%, it's subspace. That's a good way of putting it. What happens in subspace? What happens in subspace stays in subspace, except for on this live. So, all right. So, Ted Barley says, elaborate on the cuck queening dynamic. All right, guys. So, this is something like, at first I found like totally repulsive. I'm like, I wasn't into that at all. But like, the more you kind of get into kinks, it's like the more your mind is kind of reaching for like new frontiers. It's like your mind just wants to like explore. So recently I've kind of been like, you know what, maybe I could just let my mind go there for a second. And it's like I kind of understand it because it's like basically it's exactly what all these, red pill people are saying, which is the top 2% of guys or 20% of guys, 80% of the women or whatever. But it's like if the guy gets a lot of women, if he has a lot of girlfriends, let's say, it's proof he's like super alpha. He's so alpha, he can get it. And sometimes these proof, like in a fantasy, becomes proof of the power. And it's like that power you need to like intensify your orgasm. So you need like some, if you're submissive, to make the whole thing run. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the cuck queening thing. That's why I can understand why some girls are okay with being with a guy with other women, because it's like he's basically saying, I'm the alpha. I said what I said. Don't quote me on that. All right, JG, thank you so much for your tip. Let's see, your question. Do you think women lie and misrepresent how they really feel publicly to fit in socially, where being super feminine or feminist, whatever the culture at large supports? I don't think. Here's the thing, okay? It's complicated because, like, I am feminist. I completely support many feminist causes. Like, so deeply, it's not even funny. Like, they have many extremely important points for women. However, do you sometimes feel like you have to maintain your feminist stance, like, at all costs to support the movement? Yes. And can you sometimes feel like, well, that's not the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But if I said that, the man would just misinterpret it. He would just like abuse the truth anyway. So can he even like understand the nuances? Probably not. So it's not even worth it. So let's just go with the overarching point, which is feminism and the feminist talking points. Do you know what I mean? So no, I don't think they're lying, but I think that maybe there is a bit of uneasiness sometimes deep down that maybe the whole truth is kind of like too much for people to handle or for men to handle because it is really scary, guys. Like, you have no idea. I should show you some of the comments because I recently screenshotted some about like what guys say to me about like how, oh, you want to be dominated? Then I guess you want to be raped. Like, great. You know what I'm saying? So I took so many screenshots, but I know I have some like crazy comments I screenshotted here on my phone where guys just, it's scary the way they misinterpret it. Oh, yeah, here's one. Great. You like to be dominated, so you want to be raped. Easy. Thanks. Scary, right? So the instinct is just say, no, we don't want to be dominated. But it's like sexually, it's hard for people to understand. Okay, maybe you want a sexual fantasy that's different than your working life, your daily life. Can people have a freaking sexual fantasy? Anyway, so yeah, but sometimes I do feel that like there probably is a bit of unease when people are like, I mean, there's this famous quote you guys have probably heard is like people, something like people decry in the real world what they're masturbating to in like their bedrooms. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then could you explain this part, JG? You said we're being so. Do you think women lie and misrepresent how they really feel publicly to fit in socially? And then you said we're being super feminine or feminist, whatever the culture at large supports. So, in what situations are you seeing them lie about being super feminine? Oh, actually, I think I can understand that because yeah, I do think women like they are really a lot of cultural pressure in many cultures to be super feminine, way more feminine than we actually are. Because, like I'm saying, wild femininity, it's not just one fake version of femininity. I feel like so many women, they just like see what men want and they do it and they don't even understand like what they find sexy. So yeah, I mean, I definitely do feel like women fake being super feminine a lot, but it's not like they're they're maliciously faking it. It's like a subconscious pressure that we kind of like can't throw off. It's like just like molded us from a young age. It's just there's like incredible incentive to be like super feminine and it just takes over us. Like that's just such a huge thing where the women can't stop smiling. Like, even when they're in, like, extreme pain, it's like the smile is just, like, this ghastly thing, like, plastered on the face. So, yeah, I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but kinda just went off on a rant there. But, what do you think, JG? And then, 92, thank you so much. So he said, "I asked out a girl over text to meet up, but she either dances around the idea or ignores it and continues on with the text convo I keep on pursuing." Okay. So did you explicitly ask her out like you said, like, Friday, 7 p.m., drinks, me and you, this place, be there? Like, or is it kind of like, we should meet up sometime? Or do you have any plans for the weekend? Because if it's that, then she's kinda gonna be waiting for you to, like, give the explicit plan. But if you have given her the explicit plan, she just ignores it, I would, like, call her out and be like, "What's up with that?" It's time for you to call her out, she's just ignoring it. But you might just be a lot of guys, like, think they've made the explicit plan when they haven't. So let me know, 92. JG says, "Thanks, you perfectly answered my question indirectly." Did I, JG? Okay, what did I say indirectly? I'm curious now. So then 92 says, "Yes, I did like the first plan, like, I set everything up." So, this is weird at this point. Like, I think you should ask her, like, "Hey, I really like you. I wanna take you out, but, is" what could you say exactly? But, like, you need to just ask her, like, "Are you maybe feeling nervous about meeting up?" Like, could you say something like that? But you need to, like, call her out at this point. Maybe you could just set up another plan and see if she ignores again, because she might just be kinda, like, unsure at this point. But, it's weird because it's like she still wants to talk to you, so she likes you, so I'm not really sure what she might be thinking. Like, I think you're totally within your rights to just ask her, like, call her up even. I don't know. What do you think, 92? So, JG says, "At the end of your comment, you said women feel tremendous pressure they can't shake off, so they keep smiling, basically meaning they can't stop or ignore the social pressures and reality." Yeah, well said, JG. Um, that's really it's true. It's like really hard to undo that. It's really sad. Like, that's what I like to watch this show, Dancing with the Stars, and it's kind of interesting because it's like a dance show, right? But it's a lot about how to expose like your truth. And that's a lot of the problem that the women have is they can't stop smiling. They can't stop being like putting up the walls and being fake. It's just so hard um for them a lot of times because it's like the social pressure throughout their whole life is so strong, and the coaches like really try to get them to undo that, but sometimes like they can't undo it or it's just going to take longer, you know? And it's really interesting to see them like struggle with that. So So 92 says, "I'm not mad or anything. I keep on pursuing her, and I did ask her out, and I did tell her I like her." Okay, well, it seems like you're doing all the right stuff, 92. But can you like ask her if she's feeling nervous? Like, would you do that? Like, I feel like you need to get her to open up at this point with like a gentle probing question because she could just keep ignoring you forever. And if it was me, I'd be like really curious. I don't know. Maybe if my boyfriend was here, he would tell me like just try to get her on the date and don't like but I don't know if you can at this point because it's like she's just ignoring everything. So yeah. So do you guys have any advice for Nani too in his situation? So AA says, please don't take this down. I have to show this to my wife. Which part, AA? So Everglade says, what about the men that feel pressured in their daily lives? Do they still have to always be in control, even in the bedroom? Swear I'm not trolling. I'm genuinely asking. But could you go more into detail, Everglades? Because you said the men that feel pressured in their daily lives, do they still have to always be in control in the bedroom? So are you saying, like, could a man ever just be, like, submissive in the bedroom? The answer is yes, depending on how you do it. Like, some submissive things can be really hot, and different guys I've been with have been, like, more submissive in a sense than others. Like, not every guy I've been with has been, like, really dommy, and it's still really hot. So but depends, like, how submissive you're talking about. If that is what you're talking about, like, it will be harder to find a girl who wants to, like, totally dom you. Some girls will definitely wanna try it, and they'll definitely be interested in it, but, like, a female dom has a lot of competition because there's not a lot of them. There's many, many guys dying to be with one. There's not enough to go around, unfortunately. But what do you think, Everglades? Um, JG says, "Tell Nani to be more direct and forward." Yeah. Yeah, maybe you guys can I agree with you, JG, but, like, maybe you guys can, like, give him the words because this isn't even, like, my specialty. I consult with my boyfriend for this kind of thing, but you guys could probably give some good advice here. So Blues R Us says, I'm interested in a girl who just got cheated on. She was in a 6-year relationship. Is it too soon to pursue? I really like her. I just think it's too soon. Am I right? So she broken up with the guy. My instinct is to say it's not too soon because she's probably like lonely and looking for a hookup. What do they call that? Rebound, right? So I would not wait because some other guy might swoop in. You know what I mean? Strictly Group says female feline analogy. They are normally drawn to the dominant person in the house. They will drool and purr if they feel a strong hand and love and protection at the same time. That's really interesting because I never really, well, I never had a cat. I've been around other people's cats. So I didn't know this about cats. I don't know much about cats. So that, like house cats. So I'm not like I'm a big cat expert either, but that is interesting. Strictly Group. Hello, Jeremy Carpenter. Uh, okay. 92 says, I learned my skills from you, Victoria. Lol. Well, yeah, because 92, I think like what you did so far is really good. Like you gave her the direct thing and she's still talking to you. So that's a good sign in a way, but it's like, what's going on? You know, she's not rejecting you. Okay. So, Interesting, James Bond 975. Jordan Peterson married his 7-year-old crush. He has zero dating experience. Very interesting. Goodbye, Bimmer and Juan. Uh, Castle Soul says, I feel like I understand your advice, Victoria, but damn, I just don't have many opportunities currently to meet girls. Aha. Yeah, that's the problem. You gotta increase your opportunities, Castle Soul, any way you can. Like, I mean, a good way that my boyfriend says, which I agree with him, is try asking out girls that aren't, 10s or 9s or 8s or whatever you rate them or whatever. Just practice with everybody. Practice flirting. Maybe stop right before you ask them out if you don't want to actually go out with them, but, you know, practice like every single chance you get. All right, let's see. So pissed off redneck one says, if I'm dating someone, is she likely dating other people if not otherwise mentioned? So for girls, a lot of times they don't like dating multiple people. A lot of girls are like this, where if they're dating someone and they like you, they're not going to even want to date other people. Not every girl is like that. Like some girls, like for example, me, when I was dating, like I definitely was like Tinder crazy and I was always trying to like date new people, but a lot of girls are not like that. They're like, "I'm a one-woman man. I can't handle dating multiple people. I just am gonna be, like, focused on the guy." So that's actually quite common. So I'd say you know, it's not a given that she's gonna be dating other people kind of, like, counterintuitively. So, yeah, I mean, you could ask her. Not in, like, a challenging way, but just, like, in a maybe you don't want to, but you could. Let's see. Kareem says, "Tell the rest about wild femininity, please." I forgot like what I stopped from telling, but ugh, hopefully none of my family members watch this. But another thing about wild femininity, I think that like women really crave is they want kind of like a total cathartic release. Like maybe they just want to like sob. Or like for me, I feel like being like super aggressive, like angry and like getting out like physical, like violence kind of. Like I just like to just like just hit my boyfriend and then just kind of like collapse. And he's like it's like consensual because he'll just be like, you can hit me, like you can hit me. It's okay if you hit and stuff like I don't know, like weird stuff like that. But it's just like this total kind of like orgasm of the emotions, if you will. It's like you want the physical orgasm, but then you just want like the mental orgasm and like the emotional orgasm as well. So that's kind of like an ultimate like wild femininity moment. Kind of like I mean, that's kind of what all this like spiritual sexuality, polarity, tantra people are always talking about. It's like women want this strong, rock. and then they wanna just, like, let loose their emotions, and that's kinda like a fantasy in a way, just feeling that free to just have, like, this total insane, like, cathartic emotional experience. Um, that's one thing. I mean, another thing about wild femininity, like, for me, you know, all the craziest, dirtiest fantasies are gonna come out too. All the taboo stuff, all the wrong stuff is gonna come out, and that might be kinda shocking to some of you guys who maybe aren't, like, familiar with some of the taboo female fantasies. Like, you got the DDLG stuff, which I've told you about, which is kind of a common one. Daddy, dom, they wanna call you daddy and all this. You got sometimes, like, the consensual non-consent. Emphasis on consensual, guys. Um, maybe they wanna be, like, degraded, humiliated, like, all the dark edge play stuff. Maybe they want some crazy kinky stuff like that, That's gonna come out. Like, for me, I'm really into, like, dirty talk. I like to just let loose. So, these are other, like, wild femininity things. They might wanna dress up for you. They might wanna give you a lap dance and just kind of feel, like, super feminized in a way. Feel like a woman, as they might say. Um, things like that. Those are some more wild femininity things. So, Paul says, question, do you as a woman who is truly freed find bliss in a steady relationship, or do your fantasies require additional male, shall we say, input? You've said women will still flirt. Can you tell your dom? I mean, I don't really call him, like, my dom. He's just my boyfriend, right? Like, it's not like we're in, like, a 24/7 dynamic or anything like that. We just kinda mess around in the bedroom. But, like, our relationship, basically, I can like, we're very open with each other. I can just tell him, like, "Oh, I wanna try this fantasy," or, if I really wanted to just F some guy, like, I think he'd be okay with it. So, it's not like I have to just be totally monogamous, you know, keep from him my true desires. Like, he's very open with me, and he doesn't try to control me. Like, he met me when I was a stripper and stuff, and he encouraged me to, like, keep stripping and everything. So he's not, like, jealous, and he's never been, like, controlling, and he just kinda, like, supports me. I mean, he says he kinda, like, doesn't like it, but if I, like, really wanted to do it, he would be okay with it kinda thing. Alrighty, guys. I think I've said a lot. Um, alright, guys. Well, this was cathartic for me. What am I doing, bros? But, Francisco Con, I don't like what you said. Women don't want to hear all this logic talk. It is all noise to them. No, it is not, Francisco. All right. So Austin says, you mentioned the man being the responsible one. Once a girl described me as responsible among other compliments, and I was very confused. Why would a girl say that? Um, well, that's a good compliment, in my opinion, unless she's kind of thinking, he's too responsible. But why would a girl say that? because she kind of like respects your hardworking nature. I mean, I'd say it's 80% likely it's a compliment and 20% likely like she's saying, it's a bit too like nerdy or something. But she could be saying he's like a real man, not a boy. So it could go either way. More likely it's a compliment. So Evie says, what to do when a girl acts bratty, but I'm not witty enough to respond with a one-liner? Well, guys, not everybody really can be like a brat tamer. You know what I'm saying? Certain guys, they're kind of more like good at that kind of thing. Like for me, I could never do it. I'm like terrible at coming up with witty one-liners. Like I just freeze and I'm like, how about like we just pretend you never said that because my mind went blank. So, not everyone can do it. My boyfriend, on the other hand, it's like been his specialty since like childhood. Like he never had a problem with coming up with the witty one-liners. He's like made to be a brat tamer. Not everyone likes it. Like even in the kink community, lots of guys are like, "Oh, I hate rats. Like rats shouldn't even be part of the kink community." Like there's this weird stigma against brats because a lot of people are like, "I am a dom and you should do what the dom tells you." And it's like it's silly, but like a lot of people aren't into brats. They're not into bratty one-liners. They're not good at the witty quips. They're not good at the witty comebacks, and that's fine. But it might be kind of like a sexual mismatch in a way if she truly like wants to brat, as they say, and like you're just not as comfortable with it. I mean, at the same time, she kind of like sprung it on you a little bit. But let's just see, like, what could you do? Um, like, what did she say, Evie? I'm curious. What did she say specifically to you? Like, how did she start? Like, what kind of way was she asking? Was she acting bratty? And Evie says, can someone ask her the same question that I'm asking? She is willingly ignoring me. Evie, please. I'm not willingly ignoring you. Like, please understand. I got like a lot of questions here, okay? And I can't answer them all, but I'm not like singling you out and being like, you suck, Evie. So please just give me a little, throw me a bone, please, Evie. Kareem Ali says, wild femininity is the opposite of what a guy does inside the fight ring. There's something to that, but I wouldn't necessarily say wild femininity can be pretty aggressive and intense as well. But there's something to that. All right, guys. So, Everglades says, don't feel like I'll ever be able to live out my true kinks. Well, what are they, Everglades? And you can always hire a professional dominatrix, which I recommend doing. Um, Kirk ceases. Uh, Paul says, okay, so it is not a monogamous relationship. Well, it's, as they say, monogamish. Like, we are monogamous in a way because we like discuss everything. And it's not like we're doing everything like all the time, but it's like open, like in this open in the sense that we are open with each other and we're not like just so jealous. But I don't know. It's not like we kind of have like the desire to like do crazy things all the time, if you know what I mean. Just sometimes. Um, Paul says, I love what you are doing here, Victoria. It takes some brass to speak so openly in public. Deep respect, band props. What is band props, Paul? Thank you, Paul. I really appreciate. Oh wait, and props, not band props. Lol. Thank you, Paul. I really appreciate that. JG says that is hilarious. It could go either way. Kessel Soul says, can you confirm with me the plane takeoff aspect? Like you want to start by being pretty much being a strong, accommodating, and emotionally attuned to her feelings and be a strong pillar to do what's best. Okay, that's the runway. That's a video I made, which is basically like this idea of you gotta warm the girl up. A girl's body, like it has to be like warmed up. You cannot expect a girl to just be so sexually horny all the time. Yes, it happens that girls are like that sometimes, okay? But even if they are literally going on the date because they're like, I need to have sex tonight, they're not gonna just be like you, like, hey, do you wanna have sex? Yes, I do. I am horny. Great. I am horny. Let us go to your place. Fantastic. Let us have sex. Lie on the bed. Wonderful. Now I will stick it in. Wonderful. Like it's just not going to happen like that. Like I feel like you guys would love if you could just go up to girls like, "Would you like to have sex?" "I would." "Let's do it." It is just not going to happen. They're going to need a slow build, okay? And that actually mimics like how women orgasm. You have to they warm up slower. They have to get, like, a build. It's like God, I'm, like, saying way too much here, guys, but it's like s it's kinda like a l I don't know a good analogy, but it's like think of it like a light switch. Okay, certain lights are gonna turn on, and then, like, you can touch those areas, and then, like, certain other lights are gonna go on. I'm thinking of, like, kind of an old-fashioned, like, switchboard or whatever, and you can touch those areas, and then certain other lights are gonna go on, and then the whole body is lit up, and that's when you're at the top of the runway. But on if you try to touch a part of the body that isn't, like, lit up, like, so many women complain about this, "Oh, my boyfriend thinks or my husband thinks the best way to initiate sex is just groping me, and I hate it." Like, doesn't he understand that I need to be warmed up? I need to be touched in a certain way. I need a date. I need a build up. A lot of women say it like, "Oh, I need to be like, romance the whole day." I can't just go from like nothing to him grabbing my breasts and then me wanting to have sex. Like it's just not going to work like that. Yes, it is possible that the girl is just like going to a club and she hasn't had sex in a while and she's like super turned on and she's like on the hunt. Okay, but for the most part, she is going to want the courtesy and respect of the buildup on a date and in the bedroom. However, it could be condensed. Okay, you could take like the shortest route up the runway and you could condense into like 3 minutes. However, you never want to go 0 to 100. I'm not going to say never, okay, because there are times where maybe she just wants you to be like consensually, guys, just a really dominant push her down, stick it in. This is consensually, guys. However, for the most part, They're gonna want this slow build on the date. They're gonna want you to compliment her. They're gonna want you to flirt with her. They're gonna want you to touch her hand, make up some stupid thing like, "Oh, let me read your palm." "Oh, you got a nice lifeline. Let me, like, give you a massage. You look tense. Let me just give you, like, the neck massage. Oh my gosh, you have beautiful eyes. Like, wow, like, you look really sexy tonight. Let's go get a drink at another bar. Hey, why don't you come back to my place? I really want to show you this book I was mentioning. Like, we can just drink tea and hang out. Oh, yeah, come in my room. Let me show you, like, the bed. Oh, now you're sitting on the bed. Now let me, like, brush the hair back from your face. Let me touch your face. Let me, like, take you in. And then you see, you're slowly building up to passionate, intense sex. Okay. But you're not just going, wow, you are incredibly sexy. I would love to tell you my sexual fantasy. And you're like still messaging on Tinder, which is what a lot of guys try to do. And the girl's just like, you're hot and I would have fucked you, but not now because you're just so stupid and you ruined it. You gave me no build up. You rushed it. You fumbled it. Goodbye. If you can't figure that out, then goodbye. So that is what the runway is. It's kind of like a concept. It's not hard. It's a straight line, guys. But it's this concept of things need to build. And it's not exactly like you guys who is just like someone put in the comments in that video, a helicopter. You're taking off. You're ready to go. You're hard or whatever. She's not necessarily going to be like that unless she's already turned on for some reason. Okay? Does that make sense? Let's see. Um, let's see. Oh, thank you so much, JG. He says that impersonation of a dude at a date was so comical. You should do that every episode for a minute or two. Pure genius. Thanks, JG. Oh, gotta love JG. Thanks. Um, yeah, but like I've been on a lot of dates, and that's kind of what you got to do, you know. Oh God, guys. So Gurjot says, no, 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 Victoria, steps can be bypassed. Okay. I'm open to, like I said, not 100% of the time do you have to do this. In certain situations, it might be good to just go 0 to 100, but it's risky, very risky. I'm not saying it's not going to work sometimes. I don't think you should do that most of the time. So Greg Gory says, I thought you just stick it in. Castle Soul says, yes, I want to know how to do that slow build up. Very good. Gergsey says, oh my God, my fantasy. What the hell is happening here in the comments? All right. Yeah, James Bond says, at the foam cannon party, that won't be necessary. Date from Denny's, and you better turn up the entertainment. Lol, James Bond. Very true. You're right. You're right. No, that's actually a good clarification. Yeah, I mean, if it's something wild and crazy like the foam cannon party, you don't necessarily need the runway, but you can condense the runway down really small. Or you could just forget the runway altogether in that situation. Because that's like a situation where girls go because they're like, I'm not saying they all go for this reason, but some girls might be feeling, more sexual, more wild and uninhibited at the foam cannon party. Not everyone, of course. So, all right. KG says, is women more powerful than man? Uh, in what sense, KG? I don't. How would I know that, KG? I mean, in some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Come on now. But what do you think? Just for discussion's sake, what do you guys think? Paul says, it seems odd to me that you only have 95 years, but if you just don't stop, you'll be very successful with the number of followers that matches how real and honest this channel is. Thanks, Paul. I kind of like it that it's just like a 95 or whatever. Just it's nice that I just have like the same people all the time, a lot of the same people. I kind of just like it. Dancy says 0 to 100 only works if you are hot. Even if you're hot, I do the zero. I do the runway, but it will. I don't think even a hot guy is going to go 0 to 100. We're going to be able to go 0 to 100. I mean, girls want the hot guy to take them out on a date. However, it might be more likely that the girl's just like, I want to have sex. That guy's hot. So I'll choose him. And he's probably like too dumb to give me like the full on experience. So I'll just make it easy for him. But yeah, so there's some truth to that. But I want to go 0 to 100, even if you're like super hot. All right, guys. I should go. But this is fun. JG says, what dudes don't understand is they need verbal stimulation. Therefore, it takes time. Great point, JG. That's actually a really good point. You're right. Verbal stimulation. I like that. Kind of like, why didn't I mention that? Yes, that's a great point. You're right. Verbal stimulation is so huge. Like, do you know a lot of girls, I maybe mentioned this on one of the other lives, they'll just listen to boyfriend audios on YouTube to go to sleep. They'll just play tapes of these guys, these erotic audio creators who are basically pretending to be a boyfriend, but they're kind of like alpha too. Like they kind of have this like masculine way of talking, but they're basically like alpha in love, they're like really nurturing, good boyfriends, but they're also kind of sexy and like alpha bad boys a little bit. And they'll just listen to them because that verbal stimulation, because the verbal part like gives you all the input you need. So much information. It's so stimulating. It's just firing up the brain on all levels. Um, it's making you feel safe. It's making you feel liked. It's making you feel desired. It's making you feel appreciated for even more than your insecurities. It's really important. Like, for example, in the bedroom, I just will tell my boyfriend, can you talk to me? I need that verbal stimulation. So Yeah, great point. Great point. James Bond 975, the female controls access to the kitty and the gate. The relationship? She has the power unless he is a high status, wealthy guy, then he is in power. Hmm. I don't know. There's definitely some truth to it, of course, but there's something I don't like about this. She has the power unless he is a high status, wealthy guy. A low status, poor guy could have the power too. He could have an amazing game. He could have amazing verbal stimulation game. He could have amazing masculinity and be some blue collar cowboy or whatever. He's not high status and wealthy, but think about somebody told me to look up the guy on Yellowstone, Rip what's his last name again? I did. And he's not wealthy and he's not high status cuz he's like works for the boss. He's kind of like the lackey, but he has the power. Well, I guess he doesn't have the power, but he has the power with American women because they're in love with him. Um yeah. Hello, Samuel Williams. He says, here's something that can help you understand men better. It's highly discouraged for guys to flirt with girls in most daytime establishments. They are afraid of getting the whistle blown on them. Indeed, I know it is highly discouraged by women telling you not to. I don't agree. I think you should do it anyway. But I do know because so many guys tell me this. We are afraid of getting thrown in jail. We are afraid. So yeah, 100%, Sam. Peter says, "You are incredible in the way you explain the significance of the female mind. You are lucky you meet amazing man in your life." Thank you, Peter. Josh the Manga Lad says, "What do you mean boyfriend audio? Check out literally boyfriend audio on YouTube. See what comes up. Study them. See what you notice." So Abhinav says, "How frequent do you think it is this audio thing you just said right now?" It's not like every girl is doing this, but a lot of girls are far more into erotic audio than porn because it's so much more stimulating and it hits all the fantasies and scenarios and emotional aspects girls want to hear and feel. Um, so, I mean, a lot of girls be listening to erotic romance novel audios like during the day. Like I see that on TikTok a lot. But yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of well known that girls are more into like erotic dirty talk and will listen to that versus like watching porn. Maybe a lot of girls don't know about it as much, but when they get into it, they really get into it. Didn't answer that question so great. I don't exactly know how frequent it is. I just know it's quite popular. Well, that's really interesting. Banter ABC about Bob Ross. He says a lot of people listen to deep voices. Bob Ross is famous for calmly sleep talking people into bed. That's why he's on air on late hours. Oh, I never knew that. That's really interesting. Josh the Manga led. If women like danger, why don't they like the danger of being with a weak guy who can't protect her? Very interesting thought, Josh. Very interesting. I think it does have some appeal in a way. Kind of like a cuck queening, you know, like you've heard of NTR? It's kind of like that. Fido says, also, women are your baby. I think it's a good attitude to take, Fido. Yes, there's power, but you cherish her. Very good, Fido. Very good. Francisco Khan, boyfriend audio. Exactly, Francisco. Q-Body says, y'all asking a fish how to fish at this point. Okay, why are you here, Q-Body? Why are you here? I'm the fish telling you to fish, and I've been telling you for the past 3 hours, so just go and listen to Andrew Tate or whatever. Good luck. Paul says, I can verbally create a random sexual scenario just to describe a wildly free taboo scene to my partner and keep her captivated. I use that a lot as the relationship builds over time. Bingo, Paul. You got the key to the brain here. Yes. Good. Do it. Very powerful. Very potent. Not enough people know about it. That's literally the gold mine right there. Edward Parton says, am one of your regular viewers and greatly appreciate your work. The focus on enhancing male self-esteem, ability to communicate with women, and confidence building. Thank you so much, Edward. That's very, very nice of you. Paul says, I've been broke and wealthy. Wealthy was a lot better, but in no way affected my drive and ability to be free with my mate. Very good, Paul. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Jesse, but it sounds good. But I probably shouldn't say that since I don't know what you're referring to. Peace, Jeremy Carpenter. Paul says, verbal is really powerful. Use it, guys. 100%. Samuel Williams says, I think there needs to be an in-person version of Tinder Bumble where it's encouraged for guys to flirt with girls and everybody there is single and looking for something, which I assume you mean sex. That would be the most popular app in the world, wouldn't it? If they could guarantee that every woman on there was looking for sex. Unfortunately, because there's so few of the women looking for sex, they monetize it, you know? Trine says, kind of hard to cold approach women nowadays when everyone's got phones and they could blast you on social media. That's actually a good point, Trine. I never thought about that, but yeah, that's actually kind of scary to think about. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh, okay, Lady Lux. Lady Lux, thank you. I can't believe you're still here. Thank you for coming out of the woodwork once again, backing me up and saying, I used to listen to erotic audio. Yes. Thank you. Erotic audio for the win. Fido says, and Lady Lux, do you have any recommendations for the guys on this chat? Fido says, what if your Love of Life soundtrack turns on when you see the lady of your dreams for the first time? Could you explain that, Fido? Kessel Soul says, girls love stories, right? I think so, Kessel Soul. Erotic novels, ASMR audio compared to guys. I think so, Kessel Soul. Yes. JJ says, romance novels are huge because they were verbal. Women are a verbal species, so dudes need that mouthpiece game. That's interesting. Yeah, makes sense. It does. You're right. You're right. Antonio says, you think making audios for the internet could help a guy with women in real life? How so? I do think if you guys become erotic audio creators for women and you do it well, you'll be getting a lot of women. Because, like JG just said, they want that mouthpiece game so bad. They want, as the late, great ARC used to say, what did he call it? He had some perfect name for like dirty talk. I'll have to refresh myself, but he was always talking about dirty talk and how important it was. I should know. His book, Ooh, Say It Again. Let me look it up real quick. That's pretty funny. He actually sent me this book, Ooh, Say It Again, for free. Ooh, Say It Again. Damn it, why can't I find it? I wonder if it's like taken down. Do you think so? Okay, here we go. Ooh, Say It Again, yeah. Here we go. Mastering the Fine Art of Verbal Seduction and Oral, spelled AURAL, sex. So, anyway, do you think making audios for the internet could help a guy with women in real life? How so? Yes, because the girls will be needing you, because you'll be providing them a service they need. However, you're going to have to be like semi good at it. They're also going to want to chat with you and probably want to get with you. And I know from experience, guys, I don't talk about that much on this channel. But trust me, I know. Yeah. Evie says, I used to make erotic voiceovers. I have a really heavy, deep voice, so it helps. Very good, Evie. Francisco says, hey, Victoria, any notable romance books that hit this female gazing you are talking about? Well, a guy, I had recommended Outlander, and a guy just read it, and he said that he got a lot of female gaze insight from Jamie in Outlander. I'll be honest, I actually haven't finished the book Outlander, but I've read most of it, and I've seen the TV show, well, at least the first season and a little more of the second season. So, yeah, he's a perfect example of the female gaze in that book. So that's a great one. And so many girls are into like A Court of Thorns and Roses, like that's huge right now, ACOTAR and whatever, and all these popular ones, but I read them, I don't like them. But I did like Outlander. There's a lot of good stuff that you can learn from that guy, Jamie. So Paul says you can explore a woman's individual turn-ons that she keeps secret by using a lot of verbal. I use it to explore her mind and then fall through with scenarios that follow what I uncover as her needs. Very good, Paul. Any tips for the crowd here? Let us know how you do it. Or perhaps you want to monetize it in a video of your own. Castle Soul says, hell yeah, you tell him, Victoria, haha. Very good. Josh the manga lad. So this boyfriend audio thing is cringe as hell from a guy perspective, but I get it. Obviously, different genders will find different things appealing. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it's cringe as hell, but at the same time, he does something. It's like, when I read through all the boyfriend audio stuff, I'm like, damn it, like, how did he fucking know? Because he gets suggestions from, the girls who are, like, obsessed with him, and they tell him, this is what, like, I really crave a guy to say. And then he kind of has, like, that perfect, like, masculine edge to his voice, and he doesn't act all, like, simpy in a way. He kind of acts, like, cool, but in love. Alpha in love. So, I can see why he says cringe as hell, but you do see the appeal, perhaps, from a girl's perspective, yeah. Ted Barley says, drop the Beardo audio so we can learn. No comment, no comment, Ted Barley. Oh, Lady Lux, she's saying recommendations. Definitely dirty talk, but in a romantic, intellectual kind of way. I agree, Lady Lux. 50 Shades of Grey is one of my favorite movies for sure. Just be dominant and masculine. That's the most important thing. You're right, Lady Lux, it is. Thank you for the recommendations. We really appreciate it. Or at least I do, and I'm sure everyone else. Well, I'm sure many others who are silent do as well. Chapeau 62 is reading Owner and Owned. Oh God, Chapeau 62. What do you think? Is Jeff Castellucci's voice on example of sexy voice? I don't know this guy. Should I listen to him? Lady Lux says alpha in love is a perfect way to describe this category, actually. Thank you, Lady Lux. Thank you, Lady Lux. I appreciate that. Chapeau 62 says, good for insight, confirms what I have heard from others. Very good, Chapeau 62. All right, guys. This is awesome. This was so much fun, but I really got to go. I really got to go. But I thank you guys all because this is so much fun. Like, I really feel like this is a lot of fun. You guys are really getting it, in my opinion. You're on to something really good here. Just as the late great ARC said, if you master the art of erotic, dirty talk, oral seduction, AURAL sex, you will be providing a skill that women need, that women pay for. You will be evening the scales because right now you're asking women to provide like kind of like a male sexual experience like for free. And they don't want to. They're charging for that, guys. But when you provide a female gaze sexual experience, when you provide the dirty talk that speaks to the heart of their erotic fantasies, their deepest, most taboo desires, then you are giving them something they need, crave, and want sexually. And so they will be more interested in having sex because it's equal. It's they're getting something from you. It's like you want sex with them, but why? What are they getting out of it? Because sex for a woman is not just it's not fun to just have someone just say, okay, I could say a lot about this, guys, but just to sum up, you don't want a guy to just say, okay, you ready to have sex? All right, let me like squeeze the breasts. Okay, get down, just rip off the clothes. Good, we're done. It's not hot. It's not hot for a woman, okay? As hot it is for you, just look at her body and stick it right in. It's not hot for her. But when you provide the dirty talk that really sets the scene, sets the scenario, she's immersed in a fantasy experience that's blowing her mind on multiple levels, and it's hot, and she's going to get turned on. She's going to get ramped up to the top of the runway, and she's going to want to have sex. Simple as that. Lady Lux, am I right? Lady Lux, you there? All right, guys. Well, let's go now. All right, thank you so much to everybody who tipped me. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. You guys are giving some great advice in the comments. You're entertaining me a lot. So many. Oh, Lady Luck said, yeah, you right. Okay. Wonderful. So thank you once again. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, sharing your hopes, your fears, your dreams, your needs, your wants, your sexual fantasies, your problems. It's awesome. You guys rock. I know you guys have this in you. Just give it some time. Just keep Keep studying. Don't give up yet. Even if girls are giving you these bitter and angry looks, it's in you. You just got to bring it out. Just learn how to bring it out before you give up. Please, before you go your own way. Please don't go your own way yet. Or if you're already going your way, just turn around just a little bit and just take a baby step backwards. All right, guys. Talk to you guys later. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.